Hello everyone and welcome to the fourth period where we discuss the games that happened on a night in the NHL, and this night, the opening night for the 2020-2021 NHL season. And where else to begin than the Battle of Pennsylvania? So there were obviously quite a few big results, a few surprising results tonight, but perhaps the biggest and most surprising, although that is debatable, would be the Battle of Pennsylvania, where Philly won 6-3 on the night. It was a mauling by Philly, but there were glaring and obvious errors from both sides on how they play, how they manage the game. And the first one would be Philly, that needs to concentrate on their opening periods. So from the get-go, they need to get concentrated. They conceded on more than one occasion very early on in the period, and against teams that will defend better, and certainly throughout the season when the fatigue comes into play, when people are match ready, they need to address that. And then Pittsburgh, on the other hand, needs to address the closing of their periods where they conceded 2 goals. So it was a mauling by Philly, it really was. But the game was actually closer than you would expect it to be. So the first goal of the season was also the first goal, obviously, of the game, and was scored by Pittsburgh and Mark Jankowski from close range. But again, Philly equalised, and it was through a stupid go to CC penalty, and Philly just needs to get used to that, because that's going to happen. The game was really back and forth. It was one goal here, one goal there, one goal here, one goal there. Both teams are really fighting it out against each other. But, oh man, the defending from Pittsburgh throughout the game, for the goal that they conceded through Farabee, he's left completely unmarked. The power plays that they gave up, Jari letting goals through 5-hole, it was terrible defending, terrible defending. The good thing, though, the shining light of the game for neutral fans and just even for Pittsburgh fans, I think, was Oscar Lindblom scoring. Obviously, that goal was given to Travis Konecny to begin with, but that was later rectified as Oscar Lindblom kind of deflected it into the net. I obviously don't mind that it's Oscar Lindblom. I don't think anyone does. Travis Konecny himself said he would rather the goal go to Oscar Lindblom, and it actually did. But again, to go back to the point of Pittsburgh's defense, conceding 2 goals in the space of 20 seconds in the third period is terrible. You can't let that happen. But it's the first game of the season. It's kind of understandable. Not every player is going to be ready. Not every team is going to be ready. However, with no interdivisional games and every game basically being a 4-point game, that might turn out to be a bad thing. And as I predicted Philly to come into the top 4 along with the Rangers, and Pittsburgh to get left out of the playoffs. And so far, it's looking like my prediction might actually turn out to be right. So the next game that we will discuss is my team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and my boy here, William Nylander, number 88. Where to begin? That was probably the game of the evening for me. So it was 5-4 in overtime. The Habs dominated the game, though, I must admit. I am a Leafs fan, obviously, and I will take any opportunity to make fun of the Habs, any opportunity to praise the Leafs. But the Habs did dominate large portions of the game. Going up 3-1, the Leafs brought it back to 3-3. The Habs then went up to 4-4. To 4-3, sorry, then the Leafs equalised in overtime. Morgan Rielly obviously got the game-winning goal. But there were a few things like the Pittsburgh-Philly games which need to be addressed. So, first of all, Mikko Lehtonen on the taxi squad. I can't see that lasting long, especially after Zach Bogosian tonight. Sheldon Keefe cannot justify having Zach Bogosian in the team over Mikko Lehtonen next game, especially after the way that Zach Bogosian played, or rather did not play, tonight. So it was a great game, but Montreal really owe this loss to themselves. They allowed Toronto back in the game by taking 2 penalties and going down to 3 men, out of which Toronto obviously scored. But there are lots of positives for the Habs. Drouin got 3 apples. Josh Anderson got on the score sheet twice, which is great when you have a player come into the team. He gets on the score sheet immediately, just like what Jimmy Vesey did for the Leafs. It puts that confidence into the player, into the line, into the rest of the team. That's definitely something that the Habs can build on. From Nick Suzuki looks like the trade of the 2010s. So obviously Pacioretty for Suzuki. what was Vegas thinking? He looks like he's continuing his upward trajectory. He's not stopping anytime soon, and Charlotte looks like a best at the back. He looks like he will work on opponents' nerves. He'll get those opponents to take penalties, out of which Montreal will be able to score quite a few, in my opinion. And then Carey Price didn't have the greatest of games, but he'll bounce back. It's Carey Price. He'll come good. And again, both teams were let down by the penalties, especially Toronto. So, the Leafs, first of all, let's start with the positives. So the Leafs have some positives, most notably Prime Nylander chipping in with 2 goals and an assist, and vice versa for John Tavares. The second line looks solid, and as I said, Jimmy Vesey got his goal on his Leafs debut, which is great. But Freddie Anderson, man, it's getting hard to defend Freddie Anderson at time. He had a good playoffs, in my opinion, or rather play-in. He definitely stopped Columbus from getting on the score sheet quite a lot against a team, again, Columbus, that is not great offensively. But man, letting in 4 goals on less than 20 shots is... I dread to think what might happen against guys like Pettersson, McDavid, Draisaitl, Stutzler, and the penalty king. Penalty kill, rather, not penalty king. The penalty kill has to improve on both sides, especially Toronto, in my opinion. But again, we're early into the season. It might just be a blip in the system. 5-4 for Toronto. Ottawa walks away with a point. They will feel hard done by. I will agree with that. But as a Leafs fan, 2 points. It's the most important thing, in my opinion. And hopefully the Leafs can build on for the next game. Next up, a game which... surprising maybe for some, but maybe for Vancouver fans, not so surprising. I definitely underestimated the Vancouver Canucks. Yes, they lost Tanev. Yes, they lost Markstrom. And I think Braden Holtby is a downgrade on Markstrom. He hasn't had the last 3 good years. They showed it on Sportsnet, where he had a 927 career average in the first 7 seasons, and the last 3, 906. And that didn't look like it was going to improve this game or anytime soon. But on the bright side, the offense and Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes is a bona fide A-lister. His skating is smooth, his vision is off the charts, his hockey IQ is off the charts. He chipped in with 2 assists yet again. And yeah, Cale Makar won the Calder, but any other season, Quinn Hughes runs away with it. And Vancouver has a steal with Hughes, who they took at number 8 a few years back. I think we might see that Thatcher Demko in net, though, for Vancouver next game, but that remains to be seen. So, the first period really wasn't that special. Canucks had a power play with a couple of good shots. But, really... what was there to talk about in the first period? There was a goal from Bo Horvat, obviously getting the puck from Pettersson in the middle of the offensive zone. No one around him, no one even close to being around him. That's a big talking point. The Oilers' defense, they need to improve, because, yes, you have a great offense in McDavid, Draisaitl, Yamamoto, Kassian on the line with McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. It's all great. Offensively, this team is up there with the best in the NHL, but defensively, you've lost Glevbom. I like Ethan Bear a lot. Darnell Nurse I like as well. But Tyson Barrie defensively is a liability. Russell defensively is a liability. Mikko Koskinen, if that is your starter, and it's not even like you can back up Mikko Koskinen solidly. No, you have Mike Smith, so it's going to be Mikko Koskinen in net most of the nights. And let me tell you, that's not something that I would be thrilled about if I was an Oilers fan. But anyway, the first ends with a lead for the Canucks, 1-0. And as I was thinking, contain McDavid, contain Draisaitl, and you have a chance. In the second, Draisaitl gets his first point of the season. He finds Yamamoto in the front net. Yamamoto snipes it. It's a neat finish. Yamamoto continues to improve. That line with Draisaitl continues to improve. I'm very much loving that line. And it's scary as a Leafs fan, but it is exciting to watch when they're not playing the Leafs or just as a neutral. There's a few good chances for the Oilers, especially for Cahoon and McDavid. Draisaitl hits the post on a power play. I'm talking about the power play with Barrie, with McDavid, with Draisaitl. That should be the Oilers' biggest asset, but going 0 for 4 tonight. It's not a great sign. I think that will improve. But if that doesn't improve drastically, the Oilers are in trouble because the Canucks look like they haven't come to play, they've come to win. So, the second, there's a debut goal for Niels Höglander, and Höglander, I must say, looks like he is a top 6 forward in the NHL. There were some doubts among Canucks fans on if he's ready yet, if he maybe needs a year, if he'll come good. He looks like he is ready. And then the second ended with McDavid getting hooked on a breakaway. That should have been a penalty shot. I don't know why it wasn't. It was a power play for the Oilers, which was killed off. But things didn't go the Oilers' way tonight. It's just how it is. And then in the third, though, straight from puck drop, Darnell Nurse gets on the score sheet. He pulls one back for the Oilers. Can the Oilers actually go on to win this game? No. Because right after that, Brock Besser scores for Vancouver. And Gaudette, scores first. Gaudette scores. And then Brock Besser, right after that, gets another goal, 4-2. However, with about 12 minutes ago, Adam Larsson gets on the score sheet for the Oilers as well. It's 4-3. You're thinking, well, this just takes a power play. It just takes a moment of brilliance from Draisaitl or McDavid, which they are definitely capable of. But it just didn't happen. Again, Pettersson with an assist, Hughes with an assist, and Besser gets his second of the night with a neat finish. The goalkeeping in this game was not great. On Adam Larsson's goal, Braden Holtby was far too much wide. Mikko Koskinen looked helpless on quite a few goals. And then with 4 left in the game, the Oilers go on the power play. You're thinking 2 goals down. It just takes 1 goal on the power play, a quick goal, and then maybe a bit of luck on your side, and you pull it back to 5-5. But it didn't happen. Puljujärvi takes a penalty himself with less than 2 to go. McDavid hits the bar with a few seconds to go, and that's game done and dusted. Vancouver walks away comfortably with 2 points. I am very much looking forward to Vancouver's next game, if they can continue this trajectory, because they looked strong. I am curious, though, to see if Holtby will start. And the Oilers, I believe that they will pick themselves up. I'm not sure who they've got next. I'm hoping it is Calgary, but it's probably just Vancouver again. But anyway, if the Oilers manage to pull themselves back, if Vancouver manages to play like this most nights, it's going to be a terribly competitive Canadian division. Next we go to Tampa Bay and Chicago. I didn't really watch much of this game. It's just Tampa Bay is too strong, right? Chicago started with Malcolm Subban in goal. He's just not good enough. What in the world is going on in Chicago? They have no luck. Subban in goal. Taves is out. Kirby Dach is out. Duncan Keith is aging. Patrick Kane is great. Kubalik is very good. But that's about it, really, for me. So Victor Hedman got 2 assists. He's looking like he hasn't regressed in the off-season. Steven Stamkos was back. He got 1 goal, 2 assists. It's great to see Steven Stamkos back. He did what Steven Stamkos does. And granted, the Lightning played the Hawks in the first game, and it was against a debatable goalie. It was without Dach, without Taves. It was the first game for Tampa Bay. They will get tired. There will be injuries. But that goes for all the teams, so I don't think Tampa Bay will have too many struggles in this division. And in the third period, the 5th goal, it was just damage control for Chicago. I was just making sure the Lightning got ready for the next game, not too tired. So both teams got 1 goal in the third period. The Chicago goal was very fortunate, going off of Chernak's skate and then onto Vasilevsky's stick, and then his pads and into the net. It sucks that Vasilevsky didn't get his shot out, but I'm sure he won't lose any sleep over it. It's 5-1 win, and Tampa Bay marches on. And then the last game that we will discuss, the last game. So Colorado, St. Louis, and it's fair to say I am surprised. I have Colorado as my Stanley Cup winners. I have St. Louis to come in 3rd in the division, right after Vegas. And I was extremely excited about this game. So the Cup favourites Colorado against St. Louis with Mike Hoffman, without Alex Pietrangelo, but with Torrey Krug. What can happen, right? Grubauer started net for Colorado. I was expecting Francouz, to be fair, but it's really a toss-up between those two. And it's not an easy opening night for both teams, but it's certainly one that was promising. And it was, both teams went for it straight away. There was a power play for Colorado, a second power play for Colorado. And on the second play for Colorado, 5 seconds in, actually Burakovsky scores the goal. I'm thinking, okay, my prediction is spot on. Colorado is going to walk this game. They're going to walk this division. But that didn't go as planned, did it? So halfway through the period, Schwartz and Sundqvist find themselves on the offense. Schwartz lays it off to Sundqvist. He puts it in the net neatly. It's 1-1. St. Louis was actually playing much better than Colorado in the first period, and all throughout the game, really. Jordan Kyrou scores the second goal for St. Louis in the first period. I'm thinking, ooh, this is alarming for Colorado, but it's the first period. They'll might need a period to go back into the rhythm. They'll probably come good second or third period. If they don't, though, after the first period, the shots were 18-5 to St. Louis, and that is alarming. The first minutes of the second were uneventful. There were a few shots here and there, a few misses here and there. Nothing really of note. But again, first game of the season, no preseason. It's bound to happen, right? However, Bertuzzi takes 2 penalties in the second. I'm thinking, well, Colorado's got a power play here. They've got McKinnon, they've got McCarr, they've got Rantanen and Landeskog. Surely there's a goal coming. Surely. But no, yet again, no goal. And I don't know what's happening with Colorado, man. Cal Clifford got on the score sheet, and it's nothing against Cal Clifford. I love Cal Clifford. He did a great job for the Leafs. Obviously, he was limited, and great job. He did a job for the Leafs. But Colorado looks messy, and it's probably just a blip. But they do need to address it, right? Sorry, my throat is getting dry. So, Sundqvist also finds his second goal, fourth goal for St. Louis. Am I surprised? Yes or no. The score sheet I am, and I'm surprised that Colorado managed to only score 1, which wasn't a power play. But I'm very much looking forward to the next games tonight. I am a bit surprised by a few results, especially by the Canucks comfortably beating the Oilers. But it was a promising opening night, and it definitely delivered in my opinion. I don't exactly know which games we have tomorrow. I don't know if I'll actually watch them, because it's already 8:11 as I'm filming this in Europe right now. The game started at 11:30 p.m. and stopped at about 7 a.m. So I do need my sleep. However, this was it for tonight. I tried to do this one take. I probably can improve this, but I do not want to spend too much time on the editing right now. I do not want to spend too much time fiddling with the video. Anyway, this was the end of the video. Please let me know what you thought of the games, what you thought of the video in the comments down below. If you enjoyed it, please like the video. If you enjoyed it greatly, please subscribe. And anyway, yeah, that was it for the fourth period. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Norman, and I'll see you very soon.